Hey, everybody, we hope you're doing well. We continue to trust God during these times, knowing that He's bigger than the elections, He's bigger than pandemics, He's bigger than so much that we face in life that feels overwhelming. And as we go through life, we see so many different things, don't we? Just think with me the things that your eyes looked at yesterday. It could have been a TV show, it could have been videos on YouTube, it could have been social media, it could have been people, could have been things that you read, books, or your Bible. Maybe even you go old school still and you look at newspapers. So there's things that our eyes look at. And in this passage we'll look at today, Jesus talks about our eyes and how our eyes are like a lamp into our bodies, into our souls. That if the eyes are good, the body is full of light. But if our eyes aren't, it deeply impacts our souls and who we are on the inside. Now, we might not think about it too much, but to Jesus, it's important enough to point out in this context of laying up treasures in heaven and not on earth, the things that our eyes look at. Because the things that our eyes look at aren't just things that we see, but the way we perceive them. And what I mean is this: you might look at something and for one person, it's no big deal, but for another person, maybe it's not a good thing to look at. So you look away because you should look away. I mean, when I'm watching things like a movie or a TV show and there's a sex scene, I look away. Not just when my wife is there with me, but because I don't want those images in my mind. I don't want those images in my soul. And so I look away. Those images are out there anyways. Maybe you look at certain shows and maybe it's no big deal, but maybe it's better not to look at those shows. Maybe looking at certain things on social media and following certain people actually makes us want to be like them more than we actually want to be like Jesus in so many ways. I mean, I know some people, when they talk about shows that they watch, they laugh about it, or they sort of hide their face and they say like, oh, my favorite show is The Bachelorette, right? Or The Bachelor, and look away. And some people, though, who cares? Like, I like it. It's good drama. But other people, they look at it and they say, oh, there's like one woman with I don't know how many, 20 guys, and all types of stuff happen. And maybe you look at that and you say, yeah, I enjoy it, but probably I shouldn't, right? Because our eyes don't just see things. Our souls perceive things through our eyes, if that makes sense. That our character on the inside will impact what we look at and how we look at it. And Jesus talks about this concept in laying up treasures in heaven, because a lot of times when we see certain things here on earth, we could begin to work for them. We could begin to treasure them more than we treasure God. That's why our eyes are so important, not just of what we look at, but how we perceive what we look at, which is a reflection of our soul. I'm going to read out of Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 and verse 23. It says this: the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So really, our eyes are a perfect reflection of our souls. Because if you look at something that maybe you shouldn't look at and you look away, right, that's a good reflection that your soul is full of light. If you look at something you shouldn't look at and you just keep looking at it and keep indulging yourself in it, then that's probably a good reflection that our souls have some growing to do, that there's some darkness in there as well because of the things that we allow into our minds and into our hearts through what we look at. I mean, it might be a simple exercise, but honestly, stop and just think with me over the past week. What are the things that you look at? What are the things that you spend time watching? And how do your eyes perceive them? So there might be a great movie out there, right? And the movie is an entertaining movie. The movie's a great storyline. There's great actresses and great actors, but maybe there's some parts that are not that good in the movie. So it's not saying throw the whole movie out necessarily, but what do your eyes do when you get to those points? What do your eyes do when you see those images? Because images tend to stick with us, but they're also a reflection of our soul and our character, and what things we're okay looking at and what things we're okay to not look at because we don't find them helpful. And what Jesus says is when our eyes are healthy, when we look at things that bring us health, our body is full of light. The best practice would be to simply pause for a second, ask yourself, what are the things I watch? What are the things I look at? And how do I look at them when I see them? What do I perceive when I see them? And allow that to be the best gauge for where our soul is. And if we want our souls to be healthy, Jesus says it begins with our eyes. It begins with the things that we see and how we perceive them. I hope that's one thing you'll take this week and reflect on in your journey of faith. God bless.